Welcome to the Lehigh University Computer Science and Business Program Information Session. Normally, we run these sessions in person, do so throughout the year, welcoming prospective students and their parents. We hope to do so again soon, but in the meantime, I hope that this video version will suffice. At the end of the slides, we have contact information, and I'll be very happy to follow up with you via email with any questions you may have. I'm Hank Korth. I'm one of the two directors of the program. Professor Jim Hall from the accounting department is the other. So like everything in the program, we have one thing from each side, Professor Hall from business and me as the computer nerd. The short story about what this program is that it is a single degree that is dually accredited, both as a computer science degree and as a business degree. It's set up to be doable in 4 years, even if you come in with no background whatsoever in business, nor any background in computing. That said, of course, if you do have AP credits, those can be used to great advantage, either to explore deeper or lighten the course load. The accreditation, ABET for computer science, CSB for business, that combination makes this a Lehigh unique program and a wonderful opportunity to combine a business education and a computer science education in a truly integrated program. Now, with that degree of integration, you may think all we do here is business and computer science. But if you look at the distribution of credits, you see that it's about a third, a third, a third, with that final third being things that are neither computer science nor business, such things as social science, mathematics, humanities, electives, and as such, then, there's room for a balanced education despite the dual concentration in both computer science and business. Something else that this degree isn't is that it's not just a matter of checking boxes in a catalog and saying, that's the program. While most students' computer science courses, of course, will be with other computer science students and likewise business courses with business students, there are several courses where we have replaced the corresponding computer science or business course with our own course that can take advantage of the fact that we then have in the classroom students that have this dual background in CS and business, and we use that to great advantage. One of the primary places this happens is in the capstone project. Now, typically, many students considering this program are students who are looking elsewhere for computer science degrees. And in computer science, the capstone program involves a senior project in which students do a large piece of software and then a presentation or a poster. And so since CSB is a computer science degree, we have something like that as well, but with a twist. Our capstone projects are done with a business partner. So we have a team of CSB students and a team from our sponsor. That group jointly identifies and solves a business-related software problem back in that business. And so at one level, this looks just like a computer science capstone project, a large piece of software. The difference is that it needs to identify and solve a real business problem, and moreover, do that in a way that it can transition back into the business, which means it needs to be usable by real people in that business and maintainable long-term within the business. So that brings a touch of reality to the computer science capstone project. Now, job opportunities are quite good, and there's really a three-part story here. The first two parts, which I have on this slide here, arise from the fact that CSB is a computer science degree, so you can do whatever a computer science graduate can do. And likewise, it's a business degree, so you can do what any business student can do. Our business students at Lehigh do excellently well on the business job market. Accounting, finance, supply chain, Wall Street firms, just huge demand for our business students. Our computer science students do very well, both with traditional large software firms, Google, Facebook, etc., but also startups. Many go on to graduate study. And of course, now Many companies that you might not think of initially as being computing firms actually do have large data science, information technology operations, and are also very good targets for our students. There have been several of our students who have done startups. Some are now serial entrepreneurs, and we have some great stories there about individuals who have done interesting things in a number of areas, ranging from blockchain technology to social networking to various other areas. Now, besides these two stories, based on the dual nature of the CSB program, there's a third story. And that is job opportunities that typically are simply not really open to undergraduates because they lack the background. But CSB students with the strong dual background, both in computer science and in business, have opportunities that combine aspects of both. As just one example of this, I'll talk to the idea of forensic accounting. So imagine we have an accounting information system and we're trying to secure it. As a computer scientist, my first reaction would be put up the firewalls around it, make sure the bad folks don't get in, and we're fine. But of course, that's not the true, complete answer, because there can be people inside the company authorized to access the system who might be engaging in something nefarious. To defend against this, external controls won't help because these people are internal. And so the system needs to monitor activity and understand when things might be suspicious. To do so, that requires an understanding of accounting, but because this is an entirely computerized information system, it also requires an understanding of computing. And so to work in an area such as this or the others listed here, you really need both backgrounds. So what do real businesses do in this space? Quite often, they'll try to put together teams of business specialists and computing specialists, but then there becomes a communication issue of how these folks can talk to each other. Computer science students are well placed for this, not just because they can do these jobs, but also because they can be a bridge between the business side of an operation and the computer science side of an operation. As such, they are in huge demand. Each of the public accounting firms would happily hire our entire graduating class this year if students wound up going there. So clearly, getting a job is no problem. The opportunities are huge. But besides the public accounting firms who love hiring these students, in particular for their advisory or consulting practices, there's a large emerging opportunity in the fintech area, in investment banking and credit card companies, and in blockchain technology. And Lehigh is one of the relatively few universities at this point offering blockchain courses. We offer two of them. One, a very computer science oriented course talking about the implementation and use of blockchains. Another, a more business oriented course talking about the impact of this technology in a wide variety of business domains. All this said, to be fair, this is not exactly the easiest program at Lehigh. The 136 credits is among the higher number of credits total for a Lehigh program, but still very much fits within a 4-year program. I'd also like to point out here the pie chart, and looking at the distribution here, note that among all the things listed here, we have 13 credits worth of elective, and those electives, plus any additional space in the program that you might get from AP, gives you the opportunity to position your CSB degree to meet your own desires, needs, and interests. At one end, if you think about a student who is, let's say, an accounting-oriented student who might want to sit for the CPA exam, those students likely will fill their electives with accounting courses that are needed for that goal. Take the other extreme, a student looking to do graduate study in computer science might take a whole bunch of computer science courses prepping for that. In between this, there are a whole variety of ways in which a student can position her or himself. We have a variety of courses in the general area of data science and data analytics. In computer science, we have courses in data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data mining, etc. In the business departments, basically every business department has some kind of data analytics course related to analytics within that domain of business. So that's a potential area of expertise. We have a strong entrepreneurial program at Lehigh. There are entrepreneurial courses that students often take as part of their electives, and many other possibilities. So there's quite a bit of room for customization within this framework. Any program like this with a tight integration is going to make taking a semester off for study abroad difficult. Students with AP can do it, and many do, but there are also summer opportunities that work very well with computer science and business. One in particular that is exceptionally good is the Lehigh and Prague program. Lehigh and Prague has been set up to mesh nicely with computer science and business in several ways. One of which is the fact that there are scholarships offered for this. PricewaterhouseCoopers gives scholarships every year to CSB students to enable them to participate in Lehigh and Prague. We have endowment support from Peter Bennett, a New York investor. There's also other financial aid opportunities as well. The Lehigh and Prague program consists of 5 weeks that includes an internship. It includes 2 courses, one based with the internship and the other a required CSB course. And so in doing this program, you get international experience, you get an internship, you get an elective credit for the internship itself, and a required course. Quite a good deal overall. Prague is also very well positioned in Europe as a basis for travel to other countries in Europe. And by structuring the internships 4 days per week, that too makes it possible to get a true international experience. These internships are arranged each year with companies in Prague and are internships that fit well with the academic needs of CSB students. Now, of course, as I'm talking about this particular year, because of the coronavirus issues, study abroad programs are in some state of uncertainty and flux. But by the time anybody who's looking at Lehigh and looking at this video gets there, I certainly expect we'll be back in operation, everything back to normal. So Lehigh and Prague is an example of how you can get international experience while being engaged in this intensive program that covers both CS and business. Typically, well over half our students do get international experience either through this or other programs as part of their Lehigh experience. Now, as I've mentioned a few times, the students who come into computer science and business range from very business-oriented students to very computer science-oriented students and some in between. For those of you who are computer science-oriented, perhaps thinking about graduate school, something that grad schools very much look for is research experience, and Lehigh is a wonderful place for that. Any school that offers a computer science program will talk about a research experience. So I'll explain how ours is unique and probably highly desirable in that role. Compared to a liberal arts college, where research experience is offered mainly for the purpose of undergraduate education, faculty are expected to keep up in their field, but don't have strong research expectations placed on them. On the other hand, in a research university, such as Lehigh, faculty are expected to be at the forefront of their research disciplines. And so the research activity there is truly cutting edge, much more intense, and much more valuable. Now, of course, while Lehigh does that, so do large institutions, for example, large state institutions. But a difference between us and those schools is that our smaller size means smaller research labs. And so an undergraduate doing research is not lost in a sea of graduate students, but is rather a first-class member of the group, interacting directly with faculty, possibly becoming a co-author on papers and getting a really strong research experience. In computer science, we have a vast array of research activities going on. I could talk for hours about this, and if this were indeed an in-person session, I would be taking questions afterwards about students' individual research interests. Once again, I'll note my contact information at the end. I'll be happy to engage in a discussion either by email or by an individual Zoom session, any individual interests you might have in the way of research. I invite you also to look at the website, cse.lehigh.edu, to see the vast variety of activities going on in our department. This picture here shows the leaders of our student association. And oh, I am so sorry that that one jumped off. I think that one is on auto advance. We have a very active student association that makes a huge difference in the overall quality of the CSB experience. The student association would normally be present at these info sessions to help answer questions. For incoming students who have to select their courses over the summer, they provide student mentors. So besides the advising you get from faculty and the general support from the university, you have the opportunity to interact with students who have actually taken the courses that you'll be taking and getting advice on how best to select them and work through that process. Once you're here, you'll find the Student Association runs a whole variety of activities, both professional and social. So CSB is not just an academic program, it is indeed a social experience. And you'll find that very quickly you get to know not only your classmates, but older students in the program who can help you navigate your entire Lehigh experience. It's a wonderful, cohesive group. Another area where the Student Association is of huge help, particularly to me, is in the recruiting process when companies come to recruit students. Lehigh has its Career Center addressing the whole campus, but many companies seek to talk directly just to CSB students. The Student Association helps set up those individual meetings with companies. There's lots of them, and I really appreciate their help with that. Then besides all this, of course, the Student Association creates a whole bunch of leadership opportunities. And we have students from all levels, from senior down to first-year students participating in leadership roles. Finally, a word on how to apply to CSB. When you're filling out your application to Lehigh, you will see that there's a collection of colleges from which to choose, and then a list of special programs. CSB is one of the special programs. Now, you might think, if I apply directly to CSB, am I hurting my chances of getting to Lehigh because of the selectivity of CSB? Well, yes, Lehigh does treat CSB as a highly selective program. It is a bit harder to get into, but when you apply to CSB, you can choose one of the two colleges, engineering or business, as a backup. And so if admissions decides that you should be considered for Lehigh, but don't make the cut for CSB, you will then be considered for that backup college. And in the event that admissions goes to a waiting list for CSB, the students who are already admitted either to engineering or business may then be invited to join CSB after all. If you do wind up being accepted only to engineering or business, you should realize that Lehigh is very flexible about transfers among colleges and programs. And so after you've completed 23 credits total, of which at least 12 are at Lehigh, you'd be able to transfer into CSB even if you start off in engineering or in business. And students in that category contact us and get advice on how best to prepare themselves for that. But the main thing to look at now is that in applying, CSB is a special checkoff, and the best thing to do if you're looking to join CSB is indeed to apply directly. That way, your first semester, you get started off right away, both in computer science and in business. And so with that, I'll put up the summary slide here, and I'm going to let that sit for a moment since it has my contact information there. Please don't hesitate to email me with any questions about the program, about related issues, or if you are in the admissions process and you're having questions about that, I'll be happy to talk to you about anything pertaining to CSB. Direct questions about admissions logistics are best addressed directly to Lehigh Admissions. They handle admissions. My role as co-director is to provide info like this, and then once you are admitted, to work with you through your time here at Lehigh. And so with that, I'll sign off. I hope you're all staying safe during this period of disruption due to the coronavirus crisis. I look forward to seeing you in person on campus once we're allowed to do such things again, and wish you the best. Thank you very much.